All right, y'all. Y'all want to learn how to make these? I'm going to show you. All right, y'all. I'm going to show you how to make a door swag using a few different things. And you can get them at your local craft store or us or wherever. But this is just for inspiration. So what I have here is just like what we call a teardrop. And it's just like the same material as a Christmas tree, a faux Christmas tree is made out of. But I like it because all of these are bendable. And this is what I'm going to use to attach everything in it. And I like making things this way because you can reuse all of these tips and things. So you're not like hot gluing them in or cutting them and things like that. So what I'm going to do is I've got another big teardrop of this really lush kind of like trailing garden rose. Maybe it was a gardenia. I'm not really sure. Sometimes the faux flowers aren't always too like exactly like the others. But I don't know. But nonetheless, this is really pretty. So I'll just fluff this out. So anytime you buy faux flowers, I always like to buy them that have wire all the way to the very ends of the branches and stems. So you can really fluff it out and make it do what you want it to do, like so. So if you see that, it was really flat at first, but now just bending a few of these branches and making the flowers show up is a lot easier. And so what I'm going to do is just stick this right here dead center into this swag that I started with. And all I'm going to do is find like 2 pieces of the swag and just bread tie it in like so. And then go down here, find some more, and just attach it in a few different spots in it. So again, we're not hot gluing or anything, so you can always reuse this in a different way or deconstruct it after you're done with it and use it somewhere else for a different season or whatever. It's just a way that you can keep on reusing things and reinvent them. So yeah, so that's that. We'll probably fluff it up some more as we get going. And then I have here, I think there's 1, 2, 3. So I have 6 viburnum picks. And some people call this snowball bush around here too. And so this will probably start blooming early spring. And so I'm just going to start tucking these in. Some will go in long ways like so. And the same idea, just taking those branches of that original garland, that original teardrop that I have in there, and just bread tying them around. And then we'll stick some in long ways for sure, like this. And just wrapping those branches around it and getting it really secure up in here. And then I'm going to spread these out like so. And so same thing, and you can always bend your stem down if you need to so it's not sticking out. And that way you don't have to cut it off so you don't lose the length of it if you ever want to reuse these like in a vase or in a container in your house. And we'll just keep on putting them in and twisting them around, mixing them into all those other flowers that we put in first, those trailing roses. And the same thing, I'm just going to bend this pick here and then tuck it in like so. And just use that garland. Sorry, I keep calling it a garland base. It's basically the same thing. You could totally use a garland base to put it in. The same idea. And see how every time I put one of these in, I go on ahead and shape it and bend it. So the more you like bend these stems, the more realistic they look, or gives it movement, doesn't make it look so flat or out of a box. And so they're going to help your design a lot. So again, just kind of putting a few bread ties. That technique, I'd say bread tie, it's just how I'd say to put these in there and wrap them around the wires. And then so maybe we'll put one in. I know it kind of looks a little crazy right now, but we'll get it looking good in a second. Maybe I'll put another one in this dead center up here. Like so. Okay, so here we have it. Then maybe we'll shape it. This whole thing bends, so if it's leaning one way or the other, you can bend the whole thing to make it make sense for you and your designs. You could always wrap these around a little bit. Because if you shop for these, anywhere, if you're out and about at your craft store or whatever, just always remember to try to find things that are very bendable and that stay in place, that are pre-wired. Because if they don't have that wire in them, they're not going to do what you want them to do. You can't manipulate them as easily. Okay, so now the fun part comes. Of course, we got to add a bow to it. And how I'll do that is I've got some nice JME ribbon here. This is a fun one here for the spring. It's got that beautiful green color down the center, and then it's piped in two areas with that green and white checked. And then on the back is a beautiful pink. And then I've got a pink velvet because it's still kind of cold outside, but we're getting towards springtime. I've seen a few bunnies, and this reminds me of the soft bunnies that jump around here, those velvet looking bunnies. And then I've got a nice black and white checked with a pink back that just kind of plays with this black and white check. So, all right, so what we're gonna do is I'm gonna make 2 loops, and I'm gonna leave my first tail really, really long, like so. And then I'm gonna put in another tail and only leave it about half as long for the next go around, like so, like this. And then I'm gonna repeat this with all of my ribbons. So then I'm gonna put the next tail in here with the velvet ribbon, and it will cut it about halfway down. But see how these are much longer, and I'll show you why I'm leaving them long in a second. And then same thing with this 1-inch ribbon here. So I'll do 2 loops like so, and I'll hold everything between my thumb and index finger. Then we'll make this tail pretty long. And then the second tail I put in, we'll do about half the length. And then to finish this bow, I'm just gonna put 1 loop in the dead center, like that, and then give it a nice cut. And so now your bow is really fluffy, it's dimensional, it's got all these streamers in it. But I got me a piece of green wire, and I'm gonna wire it off. Like that, just like a braid tie, same idea. It's just all wired, no glue. And then what I'm gonna do is go straight in somewhere around the top piece of this and wire it in there. Like so. If I can get it around, it'd probably be easier if I'd taken it off the door to do this. Okay, so then that's in there. And then so now with these long pieces here, what I'm gonna do is tuck them in to the swag that we started with. And so this is one of the longer tails. I'm just gonna go in there and find 2 pieces of it and braid tie it like so. And then you can wrap some of these flowers around it and let it poke out. And then we'll do the same thing with this one. Same idea. So this gives it a little bit of body and dimension to your overall design. And then same thing here. We'll go in maybe over on the side. Because it doesn't have to be perfect. I think that's the beauty about these arrangements and things. They're not even, Steven, and all of that. So and then the next thing I'm going to do is just come back through and kind of pull some of these flowers up and like towards the center of the bow, kind of make it look like the ribbon is all around the flowers, and the flowers are kind of growing around it. And plus, we don't want the ribbon to hide the flowers. We just want it to kind of accentuate and be real pretty. So see how I just kind of tuck that in there like so, and then get your tails going right. I like them shooting out. So yeah, so there's some inspiration for your door for the spring and summer. If you did something more neutral, you could always just switch out the bow, because you see how easy it is to untie it or untwist it and then switch out your ribbon. But yeah, so there's that. And if you like these, we'll put some pre-made online at johnmark.com. You can order them there, or you can come see us in store. Okay, bye y'all.